Todd Grimshaw has been driving himself relentlessly as he prepares for a forthcoming marathon. His intense focus on exercise was sparked by his partner, Theo Silverton, whose abusive behavior has taken a heavy toll on him. The situation started when Theo began criticizing Todd's weight and eating habits, gradually pressuring him to increase his workouts. When Theo proposed entering the marathon, Todd rejected the idea and was appalled to discover that Theo had registered them both without his knowledge. Worse still, Theo informed their friends that Todd was running in memory of Paul Foreman and raising funds for an M&D charity, using emotional manipulation to force him into participating. Since then, Theo has transformed Todd's training schedule into yet another method of asserting control. He even purchased a fitness tracker, enabling him to monitor Todd's whereabouts and heart rate to check whether he was exercising as intensely as he claimed. While Theo was recently away from the street visiting his ill mother, Todd maintained his demanding routine. Yet, his efforts failed to please Theo upon his return as he became irritated after spotting an empty takeaway bag in the rubbish. Following another round of cruel remarks about Todd's appearance, Theo insisted he head out for another run, dismissing Todd's objections that he was already aching from an earlier session that morning. Theo's cutting comments clearly lingered in Todd's mind, prompting him to lace up his trainers once more. As he forced himself to go faster and further, he imagined Theo's voice criticizing him, which drove him to overexert himself until he eventually collapsed outside the cafe. Fortunately, George Shuttleworth and Christina Migley happened to be leaving at that moment and quickly stepped in to help. They supported Todd into the funeral parlor and settled him onto the sofa, offering him water before removing his shoes, only to uncover a disturbing sight. Shocked by the condition of Todd's badly damaged feet, George and Christina urged him to take a break from his punishing routine. Though Todd hesitantly agreed to rest, it remains to be seen whether he will truly follow through and how Theo will respond when he finds out. 3 fresh Coronation Street spoilers hint at shock death twist after Carla and Lisa's wedding. Betsy is left deeply shaken. The soap has unveiled an important new clue in its latest whodunit storyline, revealing that the mystery begins only hours after the wedding of Carla Connor and Lisa Swain. The update was confirmed in newly released spoiler clips. Producers have teased a dramatic, game-changing episode airing on Monday the 16th of February, which jumps ahead to a tense day in April. In the flash-forward scenes, Lisa's daughter, Betsy Swain, appears at the police station, visibly distressed as she recounts discovering a dead body earlier that night. The sequence set on the 23rd of April shows Betsy being questioned by officers, casting a dark cloud over what should have been a joyful occasion. While Carla and Lisa's big day appears to have gone perfectly, the aftermath for Betsy is anything but celebratory. "It was my mom's wedding today," she explains. "It was such a lovely day. Me and my friend went into town, but we realized we'd left my ID at home, so we came back. That's when I found it." The burning questions remain. Who has died, and who is responsible? Elsewhere, tension flares at the Rovers when Ronnie Bailey challenges Carl Webster after uncovering his underhanded intentions for the Chariot Square Hotel. Ronnie reveals he's already stepped in by warning Carl's associate to stay away. The confrontation intensifies as Ronnie suggests he'll persuade Debbie to finally cut ties with Carl. Carl retaliates, insisting that Debbie will always side with him because she's his mother. Meanwhile, Sam Blakeman catches Megan Walsh off guard when he unexpectedly turns up at the salon flat. He claims he needs somewhere quiet to study, explaining that Leanne is away for a few days. Megan wastes no time in needling him, bringing up the coursework he allegedly failed to submit. After she leaves, Sam secretly puts his newest scheme into action by planting a concealed camera, hoping to gather proof of Megan's grooming of old Driscoll. Could this mark the start of Megan's downfall? Coronation Street teen Will Driscoll was dramatically taken into custody during Friday's episode after teacher Daniel Osborne realized he was the one who assaulted him on Christmas Day. Will, portrayed by Lucas Hodgson Whale, arrived in Weatherfield late last year when his family moved into the Rovers return inn. Since then, he has been secretly involved with his teacher, Megan Walsh, who has simultaneously been pretending to date Daniel. Now pregnant, Megan has claimed she's putting money aside to relocate and raise the baby until Will can eventually join her. Fully aware of Megan's connection with Daniel and increasingly resentful of it, Will lashed out over Christmas, attacking Daniel behind the pub. However, unknown to him, his grandmother, Maggie, who harbors dark secrets of her own, witnessed the incident. She later staged the scene to look like a robbery and planted evidence on a homeless man to ensure her grandson avoided suspicion. In Friday's installment of the long-running soap, Daniel finally confronted the homeless man, Colin, whom police had accused of carrying out the attack. Almost immediately, Daniel noticed that Colin walked with a limp, whereas his attacker had sprinted away that night. When Colin claimed his memory was hazy, Daniel questioned why he had confessed at all. Colin explained that being in prison at least kept him off the streets, hinting he had taken the blame for shelter. Realizing the pieces didn't add up, Daniel stormed over to the Rovers to challenge Will. He reminded him of their tense exchange on Christmas Day and declared he was convinced Will had been the one who struck him. Daniel recalled seeing his attacker flee, a figure with a distinctive mop of curly hair matching Will's appearance. Later, while dining at the bistro, Daniel shared his suspicions with Megan, but she attempted to steer him away from the truth. Panicked, she rushed to the pub to warn Will, only to discover she was too late. DC Kit Green had already arrived as stunned family members looked on. Will's stepmother, Eva Price, anxiously observed the arrest, though Kit initially clarified they were simply taking Will in for questioning. The situation escalated when Will attempted to flee, prompting Kit to restrain him and formally caution him. Will's father, Ben, insisted on accompanying his 16-year-old son to the station, while Maggie, fully aware of the truth, declared she would contact a solicitor. Meanwhile, Megan was left visibly shaken, fearing that the exposure of Will's actions could also unravel their illicit relationship. Coronation Street shock. Teen faces the law as past crime finally catches up. Tonight, Weatherfield viewers will witness a dramatic turn as Will Driscoll is confronted by the police following his long-hidden involvement in a shocking Christmas Day attack on Daniel Osborne. The question now looms, is there enough evidence to bring formal charges against the troubled teenager? The tension unfolds after Daniel participates in a restorative justice program, meeting the homeless man, Colin, who was previously jailed for the assault. During their encounter, it becomes clear that Colin was not the real culprit. Daniel notices that Colin walks with a mobility issue, which doesn't match his recollection of the attacker sprinting away from the scene. Under mounting pressure, Colin admits he falsely confessed simply to secure a warm bed, even if it meant spending time in prison. Daniel is left stunned, realizing the case has taken him back to square one. Later, back at the Rovers' return inn, Daniel overhears Eva Price scolding Will over his temper during yet another Driscoll family argument. A sudden realization hits him. Will's hostility on Christmas Day, combined with subtle clues at the scene, points directly to him. When Daniel confronts Will in the pub's back room, the teenager vehemently denies any wrongdoing. However, the arrival of DC Kit Green, ready to arrest Will on suspicion of assault, makes it clear that the law is closing in. But with Will's grandmother, Maggie, involved as a secret co-conspirator, the situation is far from straightforward. The backstory is chilling. Daniel was found unconscious in the jail on Christmas morning by Evelyn Plummer. Will's violent act motivated by jealousy over Daniel's relationship with Megan Walsh forms part of the broader grooming storyline. Meanwhile, Maggie, seeking to protect her grandson, planted some of Daniel's belongings on Colin to frame him, keeping the truth hidden. With Will's actions now under scrutiny, questions emerge over whether Megan's dark secrets could also be exposed. The storyline promises intense drama, moral dilemmas, and consequences for the Driscoll family as viewers brace for the fallout. Coronation Street airs weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream on ITVX.